What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Michael Bisping gives Poirier vs Chandler prediction. Although UFC 281 will play host to a blockbuster middleweight title fight between Israel Adesanya and Alex Pereira, it's a lightweight fight between Dustin Poirier and Michael Chandler that has everyone talking. The fight has been in the works for quite some time. Following Chandler's spectacular debut win over Dan Hooker, Poirier was one of the names the former Bellator champion had called out. Although things were respectful at the time, they quickly took a turn for the worse earlier this year when Chandler scoffed at a fight with Poirier following his knockout victory over Tony Ferguson. Iron Mike turning up his nose at Poirier didn't sit too well with the former interim champion. As things turned sour, the UFC was quick to jump on the opportunity to pit the two men against one another. With less than 2 weeks to go until UFC 281, Hall of Famer Michael Bisping has given his official prediction for the fight.
A fight that I think should be labeled as the people's main event is, and of course I think you know what I'm going to say, Dustin Poirier versus Michael Chandler. Dustin Poirier going in there and trying to, really establish a lead, really get ahead, obviously looking for the TKO, but Michael Chandler is very tough. However, he has been dropped. He got dropped of Tony Ferguson, he got dropped of Charles Oliveira, the former champ. He has been shown to be a little bit chinny. I think he can put Michael Chandler away.
When the fight was first booked, Chandler seemed to think that the #1 contender status was on the line. With Alexander Volkanovski likely next up to challenge Islam Makhachev for the lightweight title, the winner of UFC 281's Poirier v Chandler fight will likely have to fight once more before securing a title shot. In regards to the main event, Alex Pereira has done his own sort of prediction. The title challenger showed a video of himself getting the win over Adesanya in EA UFC. He shared the post on Instagram. How do you see the two thrilling fights playing out on November 12th? Drop your Poirier vs Chandler and Pereira vs Adesanya predictions below. Henry Cejudo weighs in on Colby Covington vs Khamzat Chimaev. Talk of a Colby Covington vs Khamzat Chimaev fight has continued to surface despite the bout not being made official. With both men at the top of the 170-pound division, the MMA community has been split in regards to who they think takes the fight. Considering the fact that Chimaev has yet to lose a fight, many have him picked to win the bout. With that being said, the fact that he missed weight by a whopping 8.5 pounds for his UFC 279 bout left others questioning whether he could even make it to the fight. On the flip side of things, Colby Covington's only recent losses have come at the hands of former pound-for-pound kingpin Kamaru Usman. Following the most recent defeat, Covington bounced back by defeating bitter rival Jorge Masvidal to prove that the road to a title shot continues to go through him. Ahead of a potential fight between the two contenders, former two-division champ Henry Cejudo weighed in on the fight.
I think he's a more experienced fighter. I think he's wrestled a lot longer than Khamzat Chimaev. I think this is going to be a good fight. I think it's going to come down to who is it that recovered faster and quicker. And if this is a 5-round fight, man, I almost want to lean towards Colby Covington because as we saw in that Gilbert Burns fight with Khamzat Chimaev, I'm not sure if Khamzat Chimaev could ever make 170 pounds.
As Cejudo pointed out, Covington has plenty of 5-round experience. Known for having one of the best gas tanks in the sport, his pace could very well pose a problem for Chimaev. How do you see a potential fight going? Give us your predictions in the comment section below. Paddy Pimblett looking lean ahead of upcoming fight. When it comes to streaking contender Paddy the Baddy Pimblett, the question of his weight cuts will always arise. Since Pimblett made his successful UFC debut, fans, fighters, and critics alike have all continued to point out the fact that, by gaining so much weight between fights, Pimblett could be hurting his career longevity. Ahead of his upcoming fight with Jared Gordon in December at UFC 282, Pimblett debuted a new, leaner frame in a recent social media post. Pimblett, of course, is riding a 5-fight win streak that has seen him go undefeated since joining the UFC back in 2021. On the other side of things, Gordon recently bounced back from having a 3-fight win streak snapped at the hands of Grant Dawson earlier this year. Following the loss, he returned to the win column this summer by defeating Leonardo Santos. What do you think of Paddy the Baddy's physique ahead of UFC 282? Do you think he'll be able to get the job done in Vegas? Drop your fight predictions below. Before we continue, make sure you give that like button some love and be sure to subscribe to the MMA Zone for all the latest news. Brendan Schaub rips Nate Diaz for Anderson Silva comments. After Jake Paul picked up a decision win over Anderson Silva in Arizona, Former UFC superstar Nate Diaz was quick to question the legitimacy of things. On Twitter, Diaz accused everyone of being on Paul's payroll, something that people have continued to allege on social media as well. The way former UFC heavyweight Brendan Schaub sees things, Diaz was way out of line. In a recent video posted to YouTube, Schaub called out the former Ultimate Fighter winner.
So for even Nate Diaz, right? It's easy to jump on that train. He tweeted a video out assuming that this Anderson Silva was on the payroll. It's such a weak narrative, dude. It's such, because then, okay, Nate, okay. But when you agree to fight Jake Paul, and if he knocks your ass out, what are you gonna say? Oh, are you on the payroll? Like you're setting yourself up to get a lot of backlash.
There has been so much talk about a potential fight between Paul and Diaz now that the Stockton superstar is free from his UFC contract. So far, Diaz has been non-committal on a fight, teasing potential boxing, kickboxing, and jiu-jitsu matches. Bryce Mitchell accuses Joe Rogan of backing out from Flat Earth debate. Bryce Mitchell is no stranger to controversy, although he's without a doubt one of the most intriguing and dominant fighters in the 145-pound division. It's Mitchell's actions outside of the octagon that has put his name in the headlines time and time again. Prior to his fight with Edson Barboza earlier this year, Mitchell made an appearance on the MMA Hour, where he appeared with assault rifles in the background before verbally sparring with host Ariel Helwani on a range of topics, from COVID-19 lockdowns, vaccinations, school shootings, and his right to bear arms. While dropping several conspiracy theories, Mitchell infamously referred to a Las Vegas cab driver as a source for the information. Recently, the streaking featherweight contender took to social media to challenge Joe Rogan to a verbal debate, with Mitchell eager to convince Rogan that the earth is flat. When Rogan did not respond to the outlandish debate request, Mitchell took to an interview to fire shots at the longtime commentator.
No, he sissied out, but that's all right. You know, the thing is, if I call somebody stupid and make fun of them for their beliefs, I'm going to explain to them exactly why, you know, and so I could do that in a debate, but he wants to call people stupid but then not debate them, and that's my problem.
With Rogan giving him the silent treatment, Mitchell will be solely focused on his upcoming fight with Ilia Topuria at UFC 282 on December 10th. The two undefeated men will clash in a highly anticipated showdown that will see the winner ascend the 145-pound ladder. Both men are coming off impressive performances earlier this year. However, Topuria's came at 155 pounds, which could make things interesting in his return to featherweight against Mitchell. With just over a month to go until the two men square off, we want to hear from you. How do you see this featherweight showdown going? Sound off in the comments below. And now for our breaking news story of the day. Ariel Helwani considering leaving Twitter after Elon Musk's takeover. Longtime MMA Journalist of the Year winner Ariel Helwani is considering quitting Twitter after outspoken billionaire Elon Musk's takeover of the social media platform. After Musk took control of the company recently, he began to throw out ideas regarding the verification process on Twitter. As it stands right now, when an account gets big enough, Twitter adds a verified badge to the profile. If Musk has his way, users could be charged $8 per month in order to get a verification badge. The way many, including Helwani, sees things, paying to be verified makes it so anyone at any time can become a verified account, opening the door to imposters and a slew of other potential pitfalls. During a recent episode of the MMA Hour, Helwani spoke about the state of the platform. While he admitted that he had made a ton of friends on Twitter and grew his show tremendously, he also stated that he would relish in seeing the company burn to the ground.
At this point, I feel like I got enough out of it and I'm out. Now, if you love it, if you like that toxicity, that negativity, that BS, and there's still great things you can find there, God bless you. But I hope Elon goes in there and ruins it for everyone. And then I could just be like, this has been fun. I'll see ya.
So far, it looks like Helwani is remaining on the platform. The following day, he was active on Twitter as usual, signaling to fans that he isn't going anywhere just yet. Today's video was packed with some juicy stories from the fight world. What are your thoughts about what's going on in MMA? Don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to the MMA Zone to see more videos just like this. See you next time.